Truth, Money, and Freedom podcast.
Welcome to Truth, Money, and Freedom. Today is Thursday, January 16th, 2020. Holy mackerel, gang. Yesterday was a big day. Lots of things going on. And I got a video I'm trying to try and condense down to 15 minutes. And that's hard for me to do. I want to start by saying thank you to Brian at High Impact Vlogs. Your support and indeed your kind words have really touched all of us at Truth, Money, and Freedom podcast. We love you, brother. We're all sub to you. And I've given you shout outs 2 times in the last 6 months on my channel. And I really appreciate the fact that you did come across the video and you understand the bill that we're trying to pass here in Missouri. You call it the mother of all anti-tyranny pro-gun laws. And that would be correct, sir. You are correct, because no other state has such a bill. They don't have a law like this. So this is new, it's different, and it's extremely exciting to those who are pro-Second Amendment. We'll get into more of that here in a bit. I want to finish saying my thank you to Brian. Brian, you mentioned something about doing an interview. Absolutely, brother. Contact me, or I can contact you. My email address is in my About section in the YouTube channel. And I want to say why I like Brian's channel, first off, before I go forward on anything else. Brian's channel has been nothing but an exemplary example for all of us on why we need to fight tyranny. That is our jobs as Americans. The Founding Fathers started this whole thing. They did their part. We can't just sit back and rest on our laurels saying, well, our Founding Fathers fought for us. We're done. We're free now. It doesn't work that way, gang. Tyranny is always lurking. And it's in Washington, D.C. Trust me, it's there. Tyranny is constantly there, beckoning at the door. And some people, unfortunately, are letting that camel's nose in the tent. So people need to understand that this is always there. It will always fester. And we need to actually do what we need to do to shut down tyranny. And we have to use the legal constructs and framework that's available to us. And that's what Missouri is doing. So that's the importance of this bill. This bill is so incredibly important. I'm going to actually give you more information today. Like I said, there's nothing else out there like it. Brian's smart enough to see that. It's not perfect, but there's reasons why we can't change the language of the bill at this time. I know there's smarter people than me out there saying we need to exchange this word for this word or give a definition for this word. I understand all that. Trust me, I'm with you. I understand. And so does Eric Burleson. But we have to keep the language the same to get it out of committee. So that's the important thing to understand here. Okay, so Brian, thank you for the shout out, brother. Yes to the interview, absolutely. I'd love to do that. Let's get that arranged and let's actually talk about this bill together. But I also want to say that I am subbed not only to High Impact Vlogs, I am subbed to High Impact Flicks on BitChute. Now, the reason I bring that up is because Brian and I, the liberty-loving channels, are always under threat on YouTube. We just are. We can't monetize. It causes too many problems. And since we're not monetized, we're under threat for being shut down at any time. So there may come a morning where you wake up and you find out High Impact Vlogs has just been shut down on YouTube, or Truth, Money, and Freedom podcast has just been shut down on YouTube. Well, be sure to look in the description section below, because we are also on BitChute, Truth, Money, and Freedom podcast. We're also on DTube, and we have a backup of all of our videos on Library, like many other YouTubers have. We're not using Library, but our channel's backed up there. Every time we put up a video, it automatically gets copied over to Library. So welcome to all the new subs that came from Brian. That's the next point. I am so thrilled to have you here. I love the comments you're giving, the support you're giving. This is so important. So I'm glad that Brian picked up on this. And to be honest with you, Brian was on my list of people to contact for getting help with this bill, but I wouldn't have gotten to Brian until Sunday. And that's literally how I'm working my list. The unfortunate thing is here, and I don't want to give out any names at this point, the pro Second Amendment channels on YouTube are only interested in covering Virginia right now. Now, what's happening in Virginia is very important. Don't get me wrong, but we're trying to get legislation passed here in Missouri that would prevent this from happening, and uh, not necessarily prevent it from happening, but at least give some recourse. The sanctuary state example that Brian gave in his video is exactly the same thing my senator said yesterday. We become a sanctuary state from tyranny of the Second Amendment from the federal government. That's the purpose of this bill, gang. I'll get into more of that in a bit here. So once again, a shout out to Brian. I can't thank you enough. If we can get more people interested and get more people actually coming on board to make these phone calls, it will make all the difference in the world. And here's my promise to you before I get on with what I need to talk about. Here's my promise to all of you outside of Missouri. If you guys help us, if you guys make the phone calls, and you know the phone calls to make, hey, Senator, hey, Representative, I don't live in Missouri, but if you pass this bill, I'm strongly considering it. You know, I would like to move my family to a pro-Second Amendment state. Or better yet, I'd like to move my business to a pro-Second Amendment state. That's the kind of power this has when you're outside of Missouri. You help us, we're going to help you. And Brian, here's my solemn promise to you, brother. If we get this passed in Missouri, we need to start working on getting it passed in Oklahoma where you live. It's a powerful bill. And by the way, the language is meticulously in there for a reason. And any small minor changes that happen will happen after it gets out of committee. So we'll work on that. But okay. Now I want to say, give a shout out to the Revolting Man. And by the way, please stay tuned, everyone. I've got some stuff I need to share with you. Revolting Man called me last night, and he is making a video about this, and I want to give him a shout out. I've been subbed to him for about 10 months or so, and not only is it a great channel, but this is a guy who is also very Second Amendment friendly and wants to promote the Missouri bill, and just like Brian is doing. Here's the miracle of this. The Revolting Man is in Georgia. Brian's in Oklahoma. And they got two guys in separate states here that want to help with the people of Missouri. This is the power of freedom, the power of liberty. Once there's an island or a bastion in Missouri, then basically we'll see how it's done, how it got done, and then basically other states can follow that template. And I'm sure that that's what other people are thinking too. Many of you I know are thinking about moving to Missouri. So I just wanted to give the Revolting Man a shout out. He's making a video today. It will be uploaded tomorrow. So this is his channel. I'll have it linked down below in the description section. Also, a shout out to my friend Aaron Scott. Now, Aaron gave me a call on Sunday morning after I'd posted the video. Literally, she called me up to support, hey, that's wonderful what you're doing. And so I want to give her a shout out too. And I've talked about her on my channel before, but this is her channel right here. She is also very liberty minded. So you guys might want to check out her channel right here. She does a lot of wonderful stuff. So this is Aaron Scott's channel. And so that's it for the shout outs for now and the welcomes. Thank you guys for joining Truth, Money, and Freedom podcast. And I promise you, I will get you very pertinent information on the Second Amendment stuff as we go through the process. Now, we have about 4 months to get this done, but we have about, I think, 3 weeks for committee time. So basically, that's why the information was going to come out fast and furious. Okay. First things first, I want to tell you about a second bill that's covered in the interviews that I did yesterday in Jefferson City with Representative Jared Taylor, my state rep, and then my senator, Eric Burleson. And this one here is I think we were calling it the Gun-Free Zone Act or something like that, where we basically eliminate gun-free zones in Missouri where the state actually has a say. So federally, we can't do it. We do have Army bases here. So we can't make those reverse the gun-free zone policies. in federal, like on Army bases. Yeah, I know that sounds really stupid, gang. You might think I'm making it up, but I don't think I am. I think that's pretty much the way the Army bases are. But what we can do is take away gun-free zones from schools, libraries, things of that nature where the state does have control. So that's, and at churches too. We all know what happened in Texas. So at any rate, I will be providing more information about this bill, and as we make our phone calls, we need to mention both bills, and I'll be getting a video out about this within the next 48 hours or so. Here's a list of senators for Missouri, and I'll have that link down below, but also a link to the representatives of Missouri. So you'll have all their names and telephone numbers to help us make these phone calls in support of the bills. Now, the next part I want to talk about is actually quite interesting. This is Ron Calzone's website. It's MissouriFirst.org. Now, I will link down below his website, but what's really important, this is the important part of this video, gang, is he has a video that explains the Second Amendment Preservation Act, or SAPA, as they call it in Jeff City. You know how those kids love to shorten things and, instead of saying the whole thing. So I really want to give you guys information for this. That's the video right here. It's on YouTube. I will link it down below. It's called Intro to the Missouri Second Amendment Preservation Act 2020. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is because Ron explains this in a way that I can't. Ron was there for the etymology or the genesis of the bill. I'm not going to tell you he wrote the bill because I'm not sure that's the case, but I think he had a lot of influence on it. Ron is libertarian, and he thinks along these lines. That's what I am too. So the language of the bill is in there for a reason. Small adjustments may be made, basically after it gets out of committee. It's important the language stay the same for now. So I need to give Ron a shout out. And Ron may or may not be watching this video. I met him yesterday in Jefferson City, and I really enjoyed talking to him. In fact, that's what I was doing during the State of the State address. I was talking to Ron. And I felt my time would be better served by talking to Ron rather than, watching the speech from the governor. So, and by the way, Eric Burleson, a shout out to Eric Burleson, my senator. I need to say this publicly. This man actually went out of his way, not only to make me feel welcome, but to basically loan me, his office for doing interviews and for talking with folks. Of course, we have the same objective, which is getting the Second Amendment Preservation Act passed, but he didn't have to give up his office for this. He could have said, hey, there's a conference room down the hall or something. He's like, no, use my office. Let me set up a tripod, a camcorder, talk to a bunch of folks in there, stayed late for me to do an interview with me. I got nothing but good things to say about Burleson. But also, too, I want to give a shout out to my representative. And, guys, Jared Taylor is my representative, and I didn't even mention this in earlier videos, and I feel remiss in this, but my senator and my representative are the two sponsors of the same bill, the Second Amendment Preservation Act. Now, the Second Amendment Preservation Act has two bills. One's in the House and one's in the Senate. The Senate bill is SB 588. The House bill is 1637. It's the same bill, and it happens to be my representative and my senator that are the sponsors of these bills. So they're looking for co-sponsors. That's where the phone calls come in. Now, the Senate bill is still in committee. The House bill hasn't even gotten to committee yet. So I will get specific information on where we need to apply a little bit of pressure to help these things along. Remember now, as we actually do this grassroots movement, this very, very important grassroots movement, and I can't stress to you right now how important the grassroots movement is to get these bills along. While we do this, we're going to be polite. We're not going to, call, target, St. Louis and Kansas City folk and, representatives and senators and shout at them and say, we know you're not going to do this. they're vastly outnumbered by people who support the bill. However, we're working within the construct and the framework, and there's pressure points that will need, a little bit of attention now and then. And that's the information I'll bring to you on Truth, Money, and Freedom podcast. So that's why the videos that you watch from here on out are so very important to get this passed. Again, I promise you, if you help Missouri, Truth, Money, and Freedom will help you. If you have a similar bill in your state, we will get the word out. We will help you get that information out. Like Brian is doing for me, and he's in Oklahoma. He doesn't have a dog in this fight other than championing the cause of freedom, the cause of liberty. This is what Ron is doing too. Ron, doesn't personally benefit, and he's given his time, just like I'm giving my time. This is what we call a grassroots movement. And this is where actually the rubber hits the road. We're not talking about the federal government, gang. We're talking about the Missouri Senate and the Missouri House. It's a much closer to home for us, and they're much more closely tied to their constituents than the people in Washington are. So this is worth the time and the effort. Trust me, it is. And once again, I gotta say thank you so much to Brian for giving us a shout out and bringing attention to the bill. God bless you, sir. I mean, I can't say thank you enough. I look forward to talking with you personally and doing an interview or a discussion or anything you want to do. And Brian, like I said, to all of you out there, Brian was smart enough to catch that the language of this bill is extremely powerful. Yes, there's a few things that are not perfect, but at the same time, it has to stay that way for right now for the reasons I stated earlier. So I wanted to really bring attention to this video, though, by Ron Calzone. He explains this bill in a way that basically I can't do. Ron is way smarter than I am, and he's got a lot more experience. And so at any rate, please watch the video. It's 8 minutes, 23 seconds long. It'll be linked down below. In fact, I'm going to make Ron's video the very first link in the comment section. So please watch the video so you can understand the bill, and watch Truth, Money, and Freedom. In the next 48 hours, we're going to have a lot of great videos coming out, including the interview with Jared Taylor, and who is my representative, and then with Eric Burleson, my senator. But also we got an interview with Aaron Dorr, and he's the guy from the Missouri Firearms Coalition. Very powerful stuff, gang, coming up. And then not to mention specific information on what we need to do to go forward to get these bills passed. And Brian, thank you again. Thank you for recognizing the potency of this bill, how important this is. There's nothing else out there like it. This is, like I said, we're setting up a template for the rest of the 49 states to actually do this as well. I kind of, in my mind, written off California, New York, and Illinois and all that fun stuff, but I shouldn't, because grassroots movements work on the local level. I mean, right off Washington, they don't care about you. Washington, D.C. does not care about you. Trust me. You're going to have to trust me on this one. They just don't. All they care about is their power and their money and their crony friends. That's all they care about. But the people on the state level, people on the local level, they have to care. They absolutely have to. Otherwise, they don't have a job. And it works that way on the local level. And we're fighting powerful money, friends. Bloomberg money is coming into Missouri to try and shut down bills like this one. And not to mention the Gun-Free Zone Act. So more information is coming very soon. Thank you for watching the videos. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you to all of you that are sharing these videos. This is an important bill. Let's all get together on this. Let's all help each other out. And one hand washes the other, gang. You help Missouri out, we'll help out any other state that has a similar bill. And I know Brian will too. The cause of freedom is just and it's right, no matter what state it's in. So thank you all. You guys all have a wonderful day. May God bless you.